Jamie Raskin, let me explain to you what is going to happen when Donald Trump wins this election. We're 2 weeks away from the great D-Day in America. I believe January the 6th, 2025 will go down as maybe more of an infamous day in history than January 6th, 2020. And here's why I believe that, okay? I believe that Jamie Raskin is going to come through on his threat if, of course, they win the House of Representatives. Let me give you a breakdown. Grab your notebook. Take a lot of notes tonight because we're going to try to educate you. Jamie Raskin has threatened to use the power of Congress if Donald Trump wins the election. I believe they're pretty much accepting the fact that he is going to win the Electoral College. All right? They know it. So they need a plan B. I've taught you for 2 years. Remember where I read you those scriptures in Isaiah, how that Jeroboam had to war for his throne back, and that he had to war until the last minute. This election will be a wipeout for Donald Trump. Have no fear, guys. Do not even believe this election is close. It's not. Donald Trump is going to have a wipeout. But if the House of Representatives does not have a wipeout, then Trump's wipeout is going to be wiped out. Okay, hang tight. I'm going to explain it all to you. Now, calm down. He will win in the end, and I, your humble professor, I'm going to teach you how. But if we do not win the House of Representatives, this is what's going to happen. Donald Trump will be disqualified by the House if we don't win the House. Now, this is the reason that Donald Trump has been campaigning in states that you know he's not going to win. Why is he campaigning in New York? Why is he campaigning in California? He knows he's not going to win those states. There is a very important reason why he's there. He is not trying to win those states. He's trying to win the House seats because he knows part 2 of this war, lawfare 3.0. Lawfare 3.0 begins again on January the 6th. And this is how it's going to go down. They will declare him an insurrectionist. And January the 6th, 2025 will be a historic day. Now, if we win the House outright, then this is a non-issue. But if we don't, this is very much an issue that you need to be prepared for. I'm here tonight, just like I prepared you for Mike Pence, just like I prepared you for the midterms. I'm here to prepare you for the next January the 6th. I prepared you for the first one. I told you what would happen on January the 6th, that Mike Pence would have the power, either way, to do the right thing or the wrong thing. Now, be looking for the next January the 6th. What will happen? Remember, January the 6th, 2025, you add all those numbers together, you get 7, which is a completion. It's a 7-day. It's going to be an interesting day. Prepare your minds and your hearts for the possibility of an acting president by the name of J.D. Vance. Now, don't get upset. Don't get discouraged. I'm fixing to bring you all the way around the circle to show you how this is going to go. Repeat after me, only if we don't win the Congress. Okay? What I'm teaching you now may not happen. If we win the Congress, we're good, no problem. If we don't, we've got problems. His name is Jamie Raskin. So let me break it down for you. So get your notes out, get your pen, so you can go back here and I can sing, I told you so. All right? So let's say Donald Trump gets 300 electoral votes. He is the president-elect. That happens on November the 5th. Write that down in your notes. November the 5th, write your timeline. Donald Trump gets the electoral votes. He's the president-elect. Now, on December the 17th, just a month later, that is when they count those electoral votes in the state capitals. Remember, you're going to feel like this is deja vu. You're going to know our political process so well. It's going to be a repeat of last time. So on December the 17th, they all gather in the state capitals. What do? They choose the electors. They certify the votes of their state. Now, there will be litigation and there will be disputes, but let's say we win all of that and indeed we get a certification for Donald Trump of all the electoral votes. All right, now let's fast forward another month to January the 6th. What happens on January the 6th? All of those states that met on December the 17th, what do? They send all of their certifications to the House of Representatives. Sound familiar? Anyway, on January the 6th, 2025, those electoral votes will be opened. Now, here's the key. And this is why, once again, Donald Trump is campaigning in California and New York, because he really would love not to go through lawfare 3.0. But he knows what's coming if we don't win the House. All right? Is the Democrats, if they take the majority of the House, and it is possible, right now there's only a 4 or 5 vote difference for the Republicans. If we lose that 4 or 5 votes in the House, led by Jamie Raskin, they will immediately, you can mark it down, they're going to pass a resolution that says Donald Trump is an insurrectionist under Section 3 of Article 4 of the 14th Amendment. Now, you'll remember Section 3, 14th Amendment. Let's rewind a few months ago to Colorado. Remember, they tried to keep him off the ballot under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment because he's an insurrectionist. Now, if you will remember, that went to the Supreme Court. And many people's like, well, no, the Supreme Court's already ruled that he's not an insurrectionist. No. That's not what they ruled. They ruled that it is a federal issue, and the state has no power over a federal election. But in their ruling, they left the door wide open for Jamie Raskin. Are you following me? His threats are not idle. They're very real. Donald Trump's getting ready for 3.0. Oh, my. Now, Colorado and Maine, they tried to take him off the ballot. The court said, nope, the states cannot do it. It said the federal government, the Congress, has to do that. So, Trump gets all the electoral votes. We lose the House. Jamie Raskin passes his resolution. And we are at D-Day in the United States of America. By the way, you need to be sharing this with all your patriot friends. They need to understand what's coming. They need to understand how God is going to stop the enemy, but you need to know that it is coming. So what happens when they pass the resolution, Professor Toto? Thank you for asking. Trump's votes, all 300 or whatever he has, will be immediately disqualified. That's the law. The Congress can disqualify him. Okay? Now, because he's an insurrectionist, and Section 3, Article 14 says he cannot run. So, what happens now? Well, at that point, no one has 270 votes. So no one is the president-elect. So now we have what? What we had in 2020, a contingent election. All right? Now, Kamala Harris doesn't have 270. Trump does, but he's disqualified. So now, who decides the presidency? You guessed it. The House of Representatives. Ding, 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 ding. Throw it to the House. We're back there, guys, if we don't win the House. That's what we're back to. Throw it to the House. And so everyone's saying, well, no problem, Professor Toto. The Republicans will rule the House. You're right. But there's a problem. We don't have a candidate. He's been disqualified. Now, this has happened, by the way, before 3 times in 1800, 1824, and 1876. So the House now must choose the president. There's a couple of caveats here. One is the top 3 people with the electoral votes is who they would vote on. Now, if you disqualify Trump, no one else has any states that they have. In other words, there's no winner at all. Kamala Harris is the only one they can vote for because there is no third party that's going to have one state. In other words, there will be no third party. So your only choice at that moment is Kamala Harris. That's it. That's your only choice because that's the only one that has electoral votes in the top 3. Now, remember when Joe Biden gave up his primary votes and they were passed off to Scala? You remember that? Even though she did not earn them, but because she was on the ticket, the votes was allowed to go to her. That's exactly what's going to happen at that moment. At that moment, J.D. Vance will be given Donald Trump's electoral votes. Now, here is the interesting part. Remember, even if they win in the House, we, the Republicans, have way more state delegations. In case you've forgotten, we don't vote by members in the House. We vote, each state gets 1 vote. Texas gets a vote. New Hampshire gets 1 vote. And in the House, we have a 22-point advantage with state legislatures, okay? We are the majority. But the problem is they can only vote for Kamala Harris unless J.D. Vance is made the acting president. That's their only option. So, what has to happen? At that moment, all the Republicans have to leave the floor, walk out into the snow on the mall, stand outside, and now the law of the land says that the House can do nothing. Why? They don't have a what? A quorum. I will not teach you what a quorum is tonight. But according to the 12th Amendment, if you lack a quorum, you can do nothing. Therefore, the vice president automatically, according to the 12th Amendment, becomes the president of the United States of America. So, if we don't win the House, J.D. Vance will be our president. I know it sounds crazy, but think what we've been through. Think of 2020. Think of the 3 assassination attempts, now 4. Think of the coup d'etat against Joe Biden. Think of the lady running for president that never earned 1 vote in the primary. So there's enough craziness to go around, folks. So this is where Lawfare 3.0 will begin. We will have 2 choices at this moment. 2 choices. J.D. Vance will pardon President Trump from being an insurrectionist. The House just called him an insurrectionist. J.D. Vance will pardon him. He's no longer disqualified. He then becomes the president. That's option number 1. But that's going to be boggling to the mind. Okay? Boggling to the mind. Next, it goes to the Supreme Court. And that is why Yahweh, in Trump's first election, set the court up, perhaps for this moment. The Supreme Court, which is conservative, they can never stand for double jeopardy. So for those of you that's worried, yes, there will be war. But the Supreme Court knows that Donald Trump was tried for insurrection already in the House and found not guilty. So this mess is going to collude probably at the Supreme Court. We have 2 options. J.D. Vance pardons President Trump automatically. We don't know. We've never seen that. We don't know how that would work. 9 times out of 10, J.D. Vance will be the acting president while this goes to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court that God put in place, perhaps for such a time as this. Are you ready, America? Oh, Donald Trump's going back in the White House. But like I've told you for years and years and years, he will war. This is going to be a war to the very last minute. This will be war. But we win in the end. And Donald Trump will sit in the office that was unjustly taken from him. Now, Cynthia Brown said that is not what Kim Clement prophesied. Cynthia, I have all of Kim's prophecies. And he prophesied that Trump would serve 2 terms. That's it. And he will. But I'm telling all of you, if we do not win the House of Representatives, we're going into Lawfare 3.0. The drama continues. Now, God is definitely going to come through. AJG wants to know about the 4th assassination attempt. I'm sorry, you know what? It may be 3rd one. Wasn't there one that happened yesterday, I believe, where they found the man? Kenneth Huff says that's a little bit complicated. I realize it. But hey, why don't we just win the House of Representatives, okay? Why don't we pray for that? Let's win the House and none of this will happen. They will have to have a majority. They will have to have a majority. Listen, this very well could start civil war. Lawfare 3.0 is right around the corner if we don't win the House. Guys, do you honestly think Jamie Raskin is not going to do this? And guess what? By law, he can. Huh. My. But here's the good news. God set up a Supreme Court. Right before Donald Trump left office, the Wicked Witch of the West died. God set up a court that is conservative. They think conservative. And double jeopardy, you can never have double jeopardy. So, anyway, I pray none of that happens. I pray it's flawless. But I need to prepare you. That way, when you begin to see things happen, you'll be like, oh, never mind. I know how this is going to turn out. Okay? So anyway, I hope I didn't bore you tonight, but I wanted to educate you on that particular subject. So why don't we go out and win the House of Representatives, everybody? What you say? I believe that would be a wonderful thing. Well, I wanted to talk about Christopher Columbus tonight, but I'm out of time. I'm just out of time. And I had a few guests. Oh, by the way, you don't want to miss Thursday night. I have the most dynamic guest going to be with me. All of you homeschool mothers and fathers, tune in Thursday night. I have a tremendous guest. I'm very blessed to be able to have him on my show. Something big is coming. So anyway, I just wanted to give you an update of what could be coming down the road. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you in the afterglow. Thank you for your patience tonight. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. And I appreciate every single one of you. God bless you, and we'll be right back for Afterglow. Don't go nowhere.